Hi Akash, welcome to your interview. It would be great if you could introduce yourself to our audience and then we'll begin with the questions.
Hi Faizan, thank you for having me. My name is Akash Biradar, as you already know, completed my high school from Hewlett Packard in Bangalore. And that's where I was introduced to this international award for young people. And I completed my silver and gold level in the year 2015. I completed my gold award. And from there on, I went on to finish my undergraduation in engineering. I finished it from RVCE in Bangalore. And along with that, I joined after completing my engineering at IAYP itself, and I've been currently working as program officer South India. And along with this, I have side by side also been doing my MBA in marketing. I did it from Christ University, Bangalore. So fortunately, I have been able to work as well as study side by side and complete my post graduation by this month itself. I completed. So it's been a really nice journey for me.
Great, good to know about you, Akash. So, as you said that you finished the award in 2015, you started with the silver level in 2013. So, before starting the award and after starting the award, do you see some change in your, own self? Like, what kind of a student were you? Were you always into studies or were you always into extracurricular?
Yes, definitely a big change out there, those 2 years. Because in terms of what overall activity that I have been doing, I have actually been doing it for since a long time. I've been studying in a boarding school throughout my life since the third standard itself. I've been exposed to, all these kind of activities such as sports, cultural events, academic, etc. The only change and the most important aspect was that I was never goal oriented. Like I didn't have a target in mind when I used to do these activities. But when I started doing the silver and the gold award, I understood that having a target and achieving it, how important it is, and how much satisfaction and confidence it gives you. That was the main difference that I could see in those 2 years span. And sometimes you feel that you cannot reach that goal. There were a lot of motivational factors. There were my friends, my mentors were there to guide me. And along with that, definitely there were times I found that I'd reached the goal within few months, few days. So I had to revise my goal as well. So these were few things that were very smooth moving for me. Along with that, the most important aspect in those 2 years learning for me was time management. Because that was my end of my high school education, and we had board exams coming up. So being able to actually manage the time really well, where I had to work, study, and as well as do well in my sports, because I was really good at sports and had to do, I represent India in squash as well. So being able to contribute both these together and hand in hand was really important for me. So that time management aspect was really.
So quite a few
So that's how
for you.
Yeah.
And then why did you participate in the award program? I mean, what motivated you? Was it something that your school had, like a prerequisite, or was it your own will?
Yeah, that's really good. The thing is, I see my seniors achieving this award. We used to have this ceremonies at our school itself. So in assembly, I'd seen my seniors get it, and I felt that was really nice and some form of recognition that was given for the work that they had done. Even me being a very competitive person, even I wanted that. Along with that, another very important factor was my father. He's also part of this award program, and he was helping running this award program in school. So even he's a national training planner member. His name is Mr. Kalyani Brother. So even he had been working with this. So that was another very close motivation factor for me to do so.
Nice. That's really, motivating enough for you and for others as well. And so then how did you come to choose squash under the physical recreation section? I mean, was it offered in your school as an activity, or did you pursue it from outside or elsewhere?
Yeah, so I picked up squash at an early age when I was 9 years old. I got a basic hand of it, and then I went on to start learning it, improving in it. And my teacher was there. I didn't have an official coach, but I had a teacher who used to play for our school as a hobby. So I used to go learn under him, and from there on I picked up. I started going for some tournaments. By the time I was in 7th or 8th standard itself, I was playing for the state opens. I was going for the national championship. So I was already into it. There's nothing much to have it. But by the time I reached 11th and 12th, when I was doing my silver and gold level, I pushed on more, and I represent India as well. I got ranked in Asia. I got a rank in India. I became part of the national circuit. I went in much more depth. So that was just a build on of what will happen, and then I became more goal oriented and picked it up. Even in my UG, in my undergraduation, I still continued it. Even after completing the program, I continued it, and I did get scholarship for it in my university. So that was
That's really nice. I mean, I, for one, didn't know about this. So it's nice. And you've also mentioned that you took art and photography under the skill section of the award. So are you, still pursuing those as hobbies, or, what is the status now?
Yes, definitely, definitely. At a younger side, like when I was in school, from 5th to 10th, I had taken up that art as a hobby. We had a hobby section, and I used to pursue hobby for art a lot. I definitely love doing dry pastes and oil pastes. I wasn't really good at painting. I definitely gave my hand on watercolors and other oil pastes as well, but it didn't work out for me. So I was really good at dry pastes. I did a lot of painting and all. I still do continue with art a little bit. I do only sketching, pencil shading. I do definitely do that. I'm now more focused about photography, because in 11th and 12th, when I was pursuing the award, I picked that up. That has now turned into a hobby. I went ahead and bought a DSLR in 11th and 12th itself, learned about photography, learned a lot. So now, whenever I get an opportunity, I definitely, even in my mobile, I fit in with it. I got a camera, I put it in manual mode and try to play with the exposure. I try to play with the white balance, etc., and try to take photos. I'm definitely more passionate about it. I still continue with photography.
Yes, I think you've had fun with each section of the award, and you've chosen activities that you really found, you really love doing. And that's something that the award also offers everybody to do, that they can choose for themselves the activities that they want to do.
Yes, exactly. Because I've been very fortunate enough to get that exposure, where I can at least try out few extraordinary things. Squash and all, usually not a sport where you get, everyday skills.
Exactly.
So definitely, I got an opportunity, so I was very fortunate.
And how did you find the voluntary service, part of the award, and what did you do under it? So you were part of the school social club, but what exactly did you do?
So social service was something that we had to do every week on Saturday. So what was it about basically was part of it was related to our own stuff, like school, taking care of our school, cleaning our school, helping in biodegrading, helping in planting trees. All these kind of drives were there. We also used to collect old clothes from the houses of staff, and then we used to give it to the students. These were a few of the things that we used to do inside. Outside also, we used to do some drives like paper clean drives, collect old newspapers and give it off. Then also help in distribution of clothes, and going ahead, bringing up some form of awareness was what we did. On how to keep yourself clean and what are the benefits of health and hygiene. These kind of aspects were the things that we did when we were in 11th as well. It was a mixture of both. It wasn't completely focus driven on one particular aspect. It was more like community service, kind of voluntary service that we did. And definitely it was one of the toughest things as well, because it's not something that voluntarily we would want to do. You're pushed to it as well. You require some push to do it. Something that needs to work on. That's
Voluntary service part was the toughest one for you.
yeah, definitely. Going out of your way is definitely a little difficult for someone. Even going out of your comfort zone, I found it quite difficult.
And what were your experiences with the adventurous journey section? I mean, let us talk about your Dharamshala and McLeodganj days.
So I was very fortunate again there as well, because our school used to conduct adventurous journeys for us, and we used to go for tours and treks. We used to have been to Jodhpur, Jaisalmer, then we have been to Andaman Nicobar. But for 11th and 12th, when I did my gold award, when I was pursuing my gold award, that time we did a trek from Dharamshala to McLeodganj. That was almost 2,500 feet of trek, 2.5 kilometers is what we had to cover up. And it was quite a fun experience, because we never expected rain, and it suddenly started raining there, and we didn't have any equipment for rain. So we had to buy umbrellas, we had to buy raincoats, and then we had to go there, start trekking in the rain.
Actual adventurous journey.
Yeah, exactly. We had to stop in between. We had to, take breaks, a lot of breaks. What we had planned schedule was completely different from what we actually executed. So at the end of the day, fine, it was delayed. We missed out on a few things that we had planned, but there was a sense of satisfaction that yes, we did work hard and we did achieve our goals, majority of it.
So now that we've talked about each section of the award and your experience with it, I have a few questions about you now and what you're doing. So how does it feel to be on the other side of the award program? How did you end up here? Was it something that you always wanted or planned, or it's just something that happened? Please just elaborate some, because this is that something which everybody would want to know, that how does an award participant become an award volunteer?
Yeah, that's a very interesting story, actually. I had no clue and no idea that I would be working with IAYP definitely in the future. Didn't even think about it once after I
It was
completed
not
my
planned.
gold award. Yeah, it was definitely not planned. In the fourth year of engineering, I was looking at almost something to do an internship with. So then I reached out at IAYP, and then I was like, okay, so is there any internship role that we are offering? Because my dad was part of the national training panel, so he had some ideas. He told me, why don't you ask Virgi for a couple sort of help you out? And that's how I reached. I shared my resume for an internship. From there on, they told me rather than an internship, we would like to offer you a job. So I was like, yeah, fine, why not? And that's how I picked up the program officer role. That was a really interesting thing out there. That's how I ended up in this role, but nothing planned as such. It was just, I would say, God's grace, or the path that we follow. I've been following that.
And how has this experience been, being on this side of the award program? Do you like talking to young award participants? Do you like sharing your experiences with them? How has this been?
Quite interesting, I must say, because I know the other side of the story as well. When I was a participant, somebody would come and tell me about I wouldn't give much idea about, or I wouldn't think about them highly. But then now I understand that yes, how important of an impact it actually makes to a student, because once you do the award, only then you understand that. So being able to articulate it in words and pass it down to students is not that effective until they put themselves in those shoes, and they try to figure it out. So what I understand from my role now is rather than giving a speech or telling them about the award, or tell them, just make them try it out first. Give them an idea of what a physical education skills, voluntary services. So tell them to just try it out, give it a go. What are the benefits of it is more motivational factor for them. So these are the few aspects that they like. Other than that, not much of a role that I can play in until unless the teachers get involved. I feel the teachers play a very important role in their life, because each student looks up to the teacher and they remember them throughout their life. So a teacher's role plays a much more huge impact rather than mine right now, is what I understand from this role.
So do you often talk to award participants about you also being, an awardee, or do you share your experience with them or not?
Yes, definitely. That's a very important key out there, that you must share, what you have done, because only then they look up, as to somebody's experience is what they want. Even when we look at food items, we want somebody's taste buds experience. We want their reviews on the food. Only then we want to try it out. So it's very important that yes, I share my understanding, my learning, so that they also get an idea about, okay, this is what it offers and what they might be able to achieve, or they might get something better out of it to us. So that's why I make sure that we get to communicate.
Okay, then, so what would be your advice to current award participants? People who are completing their awards.
As you can see, exposure or holistic development plays a very important role. So to all the participants out there, it's very important that you expose yourself to this current atmosphere as much as possible. Because in our current world and current scenario, there are so many job opportunities, even the smallest of the smallest jobs. Even a sewing job, stitching small clothes can be a very highly professionalized experience for you, and you can be, the best out of it. Virat Kohli wouldn't have been known as the best cricketer until unless would have got an opportunity to play cricket, or he would have at least tried it out. That's what we say. So even you wouldn't know that you would be a great chef until you cook and try it out. So the same way, try to expose yourself to different things, different ideas. It's not compulsory that you want to stick to engineering, or you want to stick to medical field, or you want to do only lawyer. You want to become a lawyer. So there's so many possibilities in this world. There's so many things that you have to check it out. To know which field you might suit the best for you, you need to spend some time in it. You need to set few goals. It's a time-consuming process, 3 months, 6 months. And this award program is what gives you that. So take your time, try to expose yourself as many opportunities as possible is what I would like to advise.
Nice. So I hope that the award participants would keep that in mind and hopefully complete their award journeys. Now we just will be asking you the last question for this interview session. So we often say that we need to change and grow with time. So considering this statement, do you think that the award is still relevant for the young people of today?
Yes, definitely, Faiz. I completely agree with this. In today's world, it's a cutthroat competition out there, and everybody needs to come out with unique ways, unique ideas. They need to grow. They need to change themselves. They need to work with time. Everybody cannot be the same. The same thing cannot be followed for years on. It needs to change. So I feel definitely you need to change and work hard at this current scenario. Especially you need to develop and adapt yourself quickly to these scenarios. There was a saying by Bruce Lee: if you're poured into a cup, you should take the shape of the cup. If you're put in a teapot, you should take the shape of a teapot. So in this current scenario, in the current world as well, if you're given the challenges in this current scenario, you should take the shape of that current scenario and work on it. So that's what I believe. That's what I'd like to say.
And from the perspective of the award program, do you think the award program still challenges young people? Is it still required in today's time? Does it help the award participants in any way?
Yes, definitely. Looking at the current scenario in our country or anywhere around the world, the academic pressure definitely hits a participant. They are studying for 8 or 9 hours in a day. They're cutting down their exposure, and our challenges where we are connecting to the outside world is very much relevant in today's world because people are cutting down from connection of outdoor world. They are more into the indoor societies. They are more introvert. They are more not working out on their communication skills. People want that. People before in the interviews used to ask only about your academic background, but nowadays they also ask your extracurricular activities. And our platform, our Duke of Edinburgh Award, International Award for Young People, offers that where we can definitely help them in co-curricular activities or that holistic education, which helps them stand out from the others is very important. This is what I see. So yes, our program definitely challenges them to become much more better in today's world.
So the award is still relevant today and it is beneficial to all the award participants. And so on that note, we'll just wrap our conversation up with my last question. This was unplanned, but let's go for it. How has the award, impacted your life? Has it also impacted your career in some aspects? Or, what has your experience been with it?
Yes, definitely. Award program has impacted my career. As I said, first and foremost, the time management aspect was something that I really felt that impacted me. Because of that, as you can see, I have currently completed my PG, that's post-graduation MBA, as well as work side by side. Even in my UG, I used to find time to do my sports as well as my studies. So definitely it has impacted a huge amount. It has had a huge amount of impact. It has also taught me that setting goals is very important. So I do set goals every 3 months, 2 months. I try to set between that timeline, not longer or not shorter. So right now, if I'm working as well as studying, what I do is I set up a goal that within this 3 months time, with my work, I should be reaching here, and with my studies, I should be able to complete this much of my academic calendar program, or the amount of percentage I require to reach should be completed by then. These are two things, and along with that, I haven't ever missed out a deadline on any of my projects in school, college. So that's also a really great achievement for me. So being able to manage that time was something that was really good. And yes, I've definitely picked up. I still do go for sports. I still try to do voluntary service whenever possible. I do work with few other NGOs. I try to build up, some form of just do this monetary benefits for them, where they pick up and help with clothes for students or the poor people. These kind of activities I definitely try to have. Not much of trekking done past 2 years because of the pandemic, but yes, I'm very much interested in that as well as academic.
Great. Thank you so much, Akash. Thank you for taking out the time for talking to us. It was lovely to have this conversation with you and learning more about your award experience and your experience with the award, on the other side of the spectrum. So it was really a very insightful conversation. Thank you for that.